Hello everybody, and in this video we are going to be talking about ordinal numbers. Now you're probably already familiar and comfortable using what is known as cardinal numbers. Cardinal numbers refer to the amount or total value of something. So for example, if we look at this picture, there are 11 runners. 11 is a cardinal number. It's talking about how many runners there are in total. An ordinal number, on the other hand, indicates the position of an object in a group of other things. So, for example, when compared to the things around it, where does this thing fall? So let's take the example of our group of runners again. There are 11 runners in total. 11 is the cardinal number. However, this guy with the arrow is in 6th place. This shows his position among the other runners. It indicates where he falls compared to the other runners around him. So what are the ordinal numbers? Every cardinal number has a ordinal number equivalent. Now I'm going to read these just so you can hear what they sound like. Number 1, first. Number 2, second. Number 3, third. Number 4, fourth. Number 5, fifth. Number 6, sixth. Number 7, seventh. Number 8, eighth. Number 9, ninth. Number 10, 10th. Number 11, 11th. Number 12, 12th. Number 13, 13th. Number 14, 14th. Number 15, 15th. Number 16, 16th. Number 17, 17th. Number 18, 18th. Number 19, 19th. And number 20, 20th. I'm sure you've recognized some patterns. Normally, we just take the number and add one of the hardest English sounds to the end of it. And of course there are some exceptions to this, right? So that doesn't work for first, second, third, fifth, eighth, or 12th, but pretty much for everything else, that's the rule. And also, when a number ends with y, like 20, and you want to make it an ordinal number, you drop the y and you add I-E-T-H. So it becomes eeth instead of just th. Now once you reach 20, you can simply repeat the patterns from 1 to 9. So 21 would be 21st, 22 would be the 22nd, and 23 would be the 23rd, and so on and so forth. So here we have 30, 30th, 40, 40th, 50, 50th, 60, 60th, 70, 70th, 80, 80th, 90, 90th, and 100 would be 100th. And in between any of those, so for example, if you picked 40, and you would go in between with 40th, 41st, 42nd, or 50th, 51st, 52nd, etc., etc. This pattern even applies to hundreds, thousands, and millions. So, for instance, 200 would be 200th. We're just adding that th. 3,000 would be 3,000th with the th. And 4 million would be 4 millionth with the th. For large ordinal numbers, meaning any number over 100, you only need to write and speak the last figure as an ordinal number. For example, 321. You wouldn't say 300th 21st. You only need to say 300 and 21st. 321st. Or for 5,711, you would say 5,711th. So how do you think you would say these numbers as ordinal numbers? If you need to think about it, you can pause the video here. So the first one, 6,822, as an ordinal number would be 6,822nd. And 765 as an ordinal number would be 765th. Now here comes the confusing part that students really hate. And to be honest with you, I really hate it as well because it can be very confusing and you may have to ask somebody to repeat themselves because words like 15th or 50th can sound really similar, especially when they're spoken fast. So how can you tell the difference? Well, the difference when you're speaking is really with syllables and length. So 15th only has 2 units of sound, 2 syllables, 15th, whereas 50th has 3. So that 15th, that 2 unit sound is going to be a little bit longer. 15th, 50th. 15th, 50th. And it's the same for all the others that would sound similar. 16th has 2 syllables, and that second syllable is stretched out just a little bit longer than 60th, 60th, 3 syllables. 16th, 60th, 16th, 60th. And then lastly, as an example, I have 17th, which has 3 syllables, and 70th has 4. So that teenth part, again, is going to sound a little bit longer than the second one. 17th versus 70th. 17th versus 70th. Okay, are you ready to practice? I'm going to say 3 ordinal numbers, but I'm going to say them in context. So I'm not just going to say the number, I'm going to actually give you a sentence. And I just want you to write down the ordinal number that you hear. And of course, you can feel free to pause the video or play it back after each one. Ready? Let's do number 1. Number 1. Mary lives on the 11th floor. Mary lives on the 11th floor. Number 2. Joe lives on the 14th floor. Joe lives on the 14th floor. Number 3. They've never visited the 40th floor. They've never visited the 40th floor. Okay, how did you do? It's time to check your answers. So for number 1, I said Mary lives on the 11th floor. Mary lives on the 11th floor. Number 2 was Joe lives on the 14th floor. Joe lives on the 14th floor. And lastly, I said they've never visited the 40th floor. They've never visited the 40th floor. So how did you do? Did you think it was hard or easy? Well, if you found it hard, don't worry because this course comes with a lot of practice problems. So this will be very easy for you in just a couple of weeks. Just to summarize, in today's video, we learned about ordinal numbers. Specifically, we learned what ordinal numbers are and how they are different from cardinal numbers. We also learned how to spell and pronounce ordinal numbers. And lastly, we learned how to recognize tricky pronunciations of certain ordinal numbers. I hope you found this video useful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.